Alright, today I'm going to talk about the key of E and different ways to play chords, like chord variations in that key. Because nobody likes to play, A or frickin' B. First of all, it's ugly. Doesn't really sound that good. Second of all, it's also just like it's a pain to play. Who wants to play it? So I'm going to teach you new ways to play those chords. So normally you'd have like E, this painful chord, that unnecessary chord. See, I can't even play it that well. Like that's, and then it just goes on and on in the key of E. And I hate all those chords. They're kind of bland and boring. They don't sound that good. Here's how I would play all those chords. Doesn't that sound so much better? So I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing. See, most people play E like this. See, they've got these two middle fingers on the A and D string, and then they got their index finger on the G string, and they play like this. And their pinky is floating around somewhere, doing nothing really. That is not how I play E. I play E with my my ring finger and my pinky finger on the A and G string, and then my middle finger, forgive me for flipping you off, my middle finger on the G string, and I've got my index finger floating around, which is, it's uncommon, but I do that because of E slides. Now let me explain E slides. So, for instance, an F sharp minor would normally be this. The more pretty way to play an F sharp minor would be actually this. You slide up, you remove your middle finger down one to make it minor, then you slap your index finger on the F sharp bass note here, and it makes this beautiful sound. Listen to this. Isn't that gorgeous? It's the same thing on several other chords. It's the same thing as G sharp minor, you just slide it up two more. It's the same thing as F sharp minor, you slide it up all the way over here to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ninth fret? Yeah, ninth fret, and then that's really pretty. And these are the minors, but there are also major variations. For instance, E, of course, A, and B. And then if you want to, you can also do this as the minor one, another like the 7. Yeah, that's a weird one, but you'll probably never end up playing that. So just forget I said that. Honestly, I'm probably going to cut that out. Okay. So those are the basic chords, but you can play them in different ways. Like for instance, I like to play B. You know how sometimes you have the That's a really pretty chord. You hear that a lot in this chord progression. Really pretty. Having that 4 is really beautiful to have, mixed in with that 5 chord, which would be the B if you're talking Nashville numbers. I really like playing that. Honestly, I play that the majority of the time. But let me explain to you what I'm doing. I'm basically playing the B slide chord, so it's E, slide all the way up to here, and then you just slap your index finger on the B note. And then what you do is you move your pinky finger, and then you slap down your index finger. See what I'm doing here? I'm like this. I'm slapping it down to cover that note, and only that note. You're not covering the 2 bottom notes. Whoops, I just hit this thing. Crap. You're not covering the bottom notes. These notes are free. Wait. Oh, good. I was scared that my mic wasn't working for a second. These notes are open. That's one of my favorite chords. Like, listen to this. It's really beautiful. Now another thing you can play, instead of C sharp minor, which is the 6th chord, you can play this chord. Oh crap. You can play this chord. Let me explain to you what that is. So I've got my ring finger on the 4th fret of the A string, my index finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, my pinky finger on the 4th fret of the G string. Looks like this. See what I'm doing there? And then what I'm doing is I'm using my middle finger, sorry to flip you off again, I'm using my middle finger to mute the E string. Now you can play the E string, but I prefer not to, because you know it's F sharp, it's C sharp minor, not E. So I'm usually mute that. It's kind of hard to do that sometimes. It's a really nice, it's like one of those, it's like a resounding chord because you've got multiple of the same notes. It's really pretty. Those two notes together, it's really pretty. So that's one of my favorite chords. I'm gonna play that in a chord progression. It's really pretty. You hear these E slides a lot in old music. Like I can think of, what's this song? You know the song, I don't want the world to see. It's like, you know, don't want the world to see me. I just want, you know, it's in that one. That's really pretty. You can hear it in other ones like Dare You to Move. Dare you to move. Dare you to move. Dare you to live like me. Yeah, that one's really pretty. It's really good for rock. I love using E slides for rock music. It's really, really good. So here's another variation. My favorites are on the E chord. There are literally so many you can do. So you've got, of course, E. Of course, there's E sus. But here's one, E sus 4. No, wait. This, I think this is E sus 4. Maybe it's E sus 2. But what I'm doing is I'm basically, so this is the normal chord. What I'm basically doing is I'm sliding my pinky up 2, then I'm putting my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the, it's basically the normal shape of how most people play the chord, like this, except I'm putting my pinky over here and removing my ring finger. It has a really nice note. Oh, no wait, it actually has this note. It'd be a great melody note with that chord, you know. That would be really pretty. So basically, yeah, you can see it. Ooh. Now, my favorite chord, like of all time, it is, what is it? Is this E sus 4 7? I don't even know. You can hear it has a 7 note in there. So it's basically this chord, this E sus 4, except I'm putting my ring finger on the place where my pinky finger was, which is the 4th fret of the D string, and then I'm putting my pinky on the 4th fret of the B string, which is creating a clash with the B and E string. Like that, a 7-1, 7-1. That's always a really nice clash if you use it right. Some clashes are good, some are bad. You know, almost like if you're playing this chord, but include that note in it. Like, what the heck? That's a terrible clash. But this is a really good clash. Oh, it's just so nice. Oh, listen to that. It's really pretty with picking. I'm sorry, I just modulated to G. Okay, so this one is probably the hardest chord you'll ever play. One of my happiest moments, the most happy moments of my lifetime, was when I played that chord on stage during church one time. That was funny. I doubt anybody saw it. If they did, they probably would have felt bad for me because that's a brutal chord. I mean, look at that. It's painful. Like, I look like a freaking zombie. It's painful. And that chord hurt. You're gonna for a long time, you're gonna struggle with this stretch here, this stretch between these two fingers to get the minor chords, especially F sharp minor. It's the most beautiful one, but it is the hardest to play. Except for this, of course. But I don't even know if that's a verified chord. Like, I've never seen somebody play that chord in my life. But it's my favorite chord. I think that was the first chord I ever played on this guitar. So that is one of my favorites. I highly recommend practicing that because in a few months you will not regret it. You'll be able to play it fluently. And I can even play chords like that. This chord, that one I still struggle with a little bit, playing fluently with my entire, like with normal chords. You know, like you could just play around. Like watch, this is gonna be a struggle for me. See, it was muted, you know. It's something you really have to practice on. I've been doing it for a long time and I still haven't mastered that switch. Like watch this switch, for instance, down there. It's because your fingers are in such an odd, abnormal position. So, but it's just something you gotta practice. I recommend practicing all of these. You will now, oh, one more. So this is basically A, but you remove your pinky finger from the 2nd fret of the B string. So it kind of just creates an A sus2, but it's a really pretty chord. And normally I'll mute the E string with my ring finger. And it creates a nice resounding chord, almost like this. They're very similar chords. You hear this chord a lot in rock music as well, and old music too. One example of a song you hear this chord in. You hear this chord in what's that song? By Relient K. It goes, I'll tell you flat out. Yeah, that is a. When I go down. Yeah. When I go down hard, and I take everything I've learned and teach myself some disregard. When I go down. I love that song. It's beautiful. Alright. I'd highly recommend you practice these. I'm sorry if my quality sounds bad. I'm still working on setup for these videos and stuff like that. Still working on, I released a note saying that I was going to start studio sessions soon. I did that too soon. I leapt on that too soon because there's no guarantee I'm going to be able to start studio lessons until I learn how to screen record while producing at the same time. I do not know how to do that. If anybody knows how to do that, I would appreciate a DM or like a link or something to help me out. I'm probably going to get on a call with some kind of professional to figure this out. I have no freaking clue. It worked with some of it, but it did not work with the electric guitar. When I played the electric guitar, it sounded horrible. It wouldn't play for some reason. It was only playing the reverb, and that sounded like super distorted. It sounded terrible. It was actually hurting my ears, so I just turned it off and had a temper tantrum. I mean, I didn't, but I was tempted to because it was really, really, really annoying because I'd spent like over an hour trying to figure this out, trying all kinds of different things, and I'm sorry, I love Mac, but Mac is kind of stupid for not just having a screen record built in to where it just records every single sound that you hear from the laptop. It just records it purely, not screwed up, not at a lower quality, just at a perfect quality. Just why not? I dream of that someday. If anybody has any tips for that, I would appreciate your help. When I learn, I'll probably release a video helping other people out for tips, helping other producers like me. But until then, I'm going to keep slaving over that and figuring that out. I'd highly recommend you guys practice these E chords and master how to play in a key of E. See you next time.